Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be introducing a brand new series. Netflix is The Dragon Prince. Now I have followed this series since the first time it actually aired. I watched season 1, loved it. Watched season 2, loved it, and it being from the same creators of Avatar and Korra, Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra. Definitely helped. Definitely helped. I did love those two series as well. Still waiting and hoping for a follow up. Hopefully, if the live action does well enough on Netflix, we can maybe get a third season of Avatar on Netflix. I've always said that with each Avatar that they have introduced, there's been a significant change in the culture and modernization, right? And it would be fantastic if they actually had something in current time, or at least close to current time, where something like the Avatar is just not relevant anymore because we have all these weapons and technologies that have done, that don't rely on bending. So it would be fantastic. But anyhow, so when I heard this show was going to Netflix, I definitely checked it out and absolutely loved it. Still do. And I know we've all been waiting for season 3 for quite some time now, and it's finally here. If you're not new to the channel, one of the reasons I want to review this, and I don't see a lot of persons reviewing it, because oftentimes, a lot of the reviewers on YouTube or whatever, the focus tends to be on those series that are popular and that will grant them the most views, because of course that is one of the main drivers for them. But shows like this tend to fall through the cracks, and you don't get, it's not talked about often enough. So one of the things I try to do with my channel is to review and talk about those things that no one is really talking about, especially something like this, which is phenomenal, right? It's just one of those series that lights you up whenever you do watch it. The humor, the story, that epic adventure, and I always just find myself, even though I've already seen it, just playing it to have it play in the background while I'm doing something else, right? Because the characters are just so lovable and it's just fun. So I want to ensure that this gets as much attention as possible. So and because of schedule as well. So normally I would binge it, but unfortunately I don't have as much time as I used to. But so I'm going to be going through this episode episode by episode, and hopefully you'll be along with me for the journey. All right, so episode 3, season 3, episode 1. Let's check it out. I didn't realize, is this the first time you actually heard a dragon speak?
Humans to go back to the way things were before we had magic. When humans starved and struggled, helpless and pathetic. Back to a time when we were lesser beings.
You are lesser beings.
You are arrogant. You promised my safety if I came here.
Yes. You will be safe high upon this peak. Far, far away from the city of Alarium.
You can't be saying an entire city, hundreds of thousands of innocent people, children!
Give up dark magic, or I will reduce it to ash.
You wouldn't.
I was thinking flashback, but is this the future? Because it sounds like you're doesn't want humans to go back to a certain so that's what you're missing.
no ordinary dragon.
Is there such a thing as an ordinary
It
dragon?
was a
His
flashback.
name
right?
is Sol Regem, the Sun King. He was the king of the dragons a
But it
long
looks so
time
much
ago.
like Vern.
But he
It
was
sounded
blinded
like
when the
Vern.
wars began, and he's become a symbol of rage and bitterness. We'll have to sneak past him. Callum, it's time for you to get your first lesson in the ways of
I
stealth.
missed her.
Nice. I mean, nice.
The secret of stealth is that you don't have to be invisible. You just have to be...
Well, he's blind, so we don't need to worry about his sense of sight.
So
Exactly.
smell and
That leaves
hearing.
only two senses we need to fool. Hearing and smell.
Wait, why are those the only two senses we need to worry about?
Well, if it gets to his sense of touch, we're in big trouble. And sense of taste? Nice knowing ya.
But now that I think about it, how was he blinded by fire though? I guess, you know, from most mythology, I'm thinking dragons are fire resistant to some extent. Could just be because it was dark magic, I suppose. Finally freed from his chains.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but where are the reinforcements we
Don't
requested?
interrupt. This
We
is
sent many messages to Lord
bad
Viren.
timing, man.
No reinforcements are coming. Lord Viren has been arrested for treason.
That's both good and bad news.
Lieutenant, you're right. We can't defend the breach.
But why
I
isn't
won't abandon
reinforcements coming though? I mean,
Our only
Viren
choice
aside,
is to destroy it.
as well.
Looks like it's down to my least favorite course of action. Reason.
Oh,
Mighty Sol Regem. I am Rayla of the Moonshadow Elves.
I didn't know the dragons were
Queen.
intelligent.
We
I didn't think
humbly
that was
ask your
hinted
permission
at
to cross
in the
back
previous
into
seasons,
Xadia.
or enough to speak.
What kind of business would send you to the wretched human land?
Yeah, are you a
We
traitor
are
elf?
transporting something precious. Someone precious. The newborn dragon prince Ozymandias.
You dare lie to me? The egg of the Dragon King was destroyed!
The dragon prince lives. And he's very cute, isn't he? There's a good boy.
Why are you so afraid of the dragon elf?
How is this possible?
It is a miracle. He needs to go back to his home. Please allow us to pass so we can reunite the dragon prince with his mother.
Aiden Prince came to be in the human lands. However, I will allow you and the Dragonling to pass back into Xadia.
What about the
But
human?
not the filthy human who cowers nearby.
Is.
Sol Regem!
It's okay. You go on.
Why, I was afraid of that.
I agree with you, Sol Regem. Some humans are evil,
Rayla?
but not this one. Not Callum. The only reason the Dragon Prince is alive is because of this human. He sacrificed
listen to
everything
reason.
so Ozymandias could be born.
He's old and he's a bit
noble
bitter because
and
of all the
true.
war and all the
When we
betrayals by
met,
humans.
he could
But
have had me captured or killed.
listen to reason.
But he didn't.
Is that enough?
So please, allow him to pass into Xadia and help me take the Dragon Prince home.
I don't think he can
Because
see you holding hands.
I don't think I can do it without him.
I smell death!
What? No, Callum is different.
I smell the reek of dark magic.
Ah,
on
right.
him.
Dark
He's
magic.
no different. He rips the life and magic out of innocent creatures. He must die.
It's done. Let's go.
You're just gonna destroy it since they can't defend it.
On your command, we'll pull the cable and detonate the
I
barrels.
still wanted to see General Amaya
And
in
1,000
badass
tons
duel.
of rock and lava
Sure we'll
will
get
seal
more
the
this
breach
season.
forever.
Wait. We can't hide from his senses, but maybe we can trick them. Create a false appearance. After all,
Or maybe
we can
not
only
try to
truly
trick
know
him,
the appearance
but
itself.
Now
know,
you're sounding like Lujane.
willingly
Wow, really?
go before him and
That
say, okay, I'll
wasn't a
sacrifice myself,
compliment.
and maybe that,
Here's the
that
idea.
could work, but I
I
guess
could use Aspar to
maybe
pull
that's not
myself
worth the
to a
risk.
different place, like ventriloquism, but with smells. Smell-triloquism. Vent-smelliquism.
It's a
No, I don't
stupid
think that
idea.
will work.
Time is up!
Give me your scarf. If I wear it, I'll smell like you and I'll draw his fire. Once he uses his blast, you and Zim make a run for it while I keep him busy.
This is the worst idea you've ever had. He's gonna burn
better
you to
than
a
yours.
crisp. I haven't
You
bathed
just
in
have
2
Callum
weeks.
carry-
This should do the trick.
Carry Azzy. Have Callum carry the dragon. I mean, I don't think he'll want to hurt the dragon. If
Here
he's
goes
carrying
nothing.
him with him. He won't hit him or burn him at least. That romance in there. You know, actually hope they just remain friends. I don't want them to go the whole romance route with these two. I think they're just great friends, and it should just stay that way.
We are ready to detonate the explosives. On your command.
Pull!
Sabotage. Someone cut it. They're already here. Rematch. I know you.
Now what?
The trigger's been disabled.
Can be done manually, but I guess
Someone has to go out there
Yeah.
and set them off.
someone has to sacrifice himself.
I'll do it myself.
What am I? God damn
Am I
it.
if you...
Keep running. Why are you stopping? This is raining. I don't want my ass to die, but I definitely want to see this rematch between these two. Can use the elf sword probably. Yeah, you are the target. Hopefully she just gets taken prisoner on the other side or something. Don't kill her, Maya. Yeah, now she's trapped on the other side with all the enemies. Come on, save her. She's probably gonna knock you the hell out, but
That arch. What if?
Oh, throw it.
oh, okay.
Aspero!
I guess his plan wasn't our plan. Dragon's gonna figure this out. Better
I think it's good luck.
Do not despair. Be patient.
God damn, Arrows.
Your time will come. You have put things in motion.
He is too dangerous.
I
There
agree.
aren't enough locks and chains in the 5 kingdoms to...
Oh,
King Ezra.
Ezra's back. God damn it. I'm glad he's back, but here's the problem. He's not going to want to execute Murray. God, he's back, but I don't think he'll want to execute Varen. There we have it, episode 1 of season 3. I'm so glad to be caught up with our characters again. Callum, Varen, Ezran, yeah, fantastic episode. I'm torn between Ezran coming back. There's always been a question as to whether or not Ezran would be the best king for this moment, right? Versus Callum. He's a smart kid, no doubt, right? He's a smart kid, and his ability to talk to animals. I do hope they explain that somehow, later on. But he's not mature enough, I don't think, given the current political climate that they've found themselves in. And Viren is just too damn smart for him to take on, and I can see Vern manipulating this situation now, and Ezran's naivety to get himself free. So what I think is gonna happen is that they're gonna propose to Ezran that, okay, we need to silence Vern, we need to execute him, and he's gonna decline. He's gonna say no because that's Ezran. We know how he is, right? He's not a fan of violence or anything like that. So I think he's gonna want to not execute him, and Vern is gonna use that to his advantage and escape somehow. So we're not out of the. He's still very much a threat, right? The very first scene that we got into there, I actually thought it was a glimpse of the future or something, because that guy that Soul Regem was fighting, he kind of gave me the a vibe that he was Varen, or sounded like Varen, or acted like Varen in some way. So actually I thought it was Varen, but I guess it's not. It's one of the ways in which this whole mess started, with dark magic and humans not wanting to relinquish that power, because according to him, he didn't want to go back to being just human. But what's wrong with being just human? Maybe I'm a bit biased, thinking back to my Full Metal Alchemist days, probably, when where that may be the right choice, but Edward's decision in the end to actually give up alchemy to be just human. But here, maybe it's a bit more complicated, I suppose, where you have elves, you have dragons, you have elves. I do wonder whether or not there are other races in this world, and or these are just the two main races. But humans themselves, I don't believe they've said that maybe humans were treated poorly, perhaps. Or I'm surmising that maybe the dark magic gave them an advantage in terms of, or not just an advantage, but equal footing, right? Because it's obvious that elves are more powerful, faster, stronger, capable of using magic without, dark magic. But being human in this land, I can imagine being somewhat intimidated by the others. You're basically no longer at the top of the food chain here, with dragons and elves above you. So from that perspective, I do understand. But I mean, there's obviously a way to do it, since Callum himself has found a way to do it that doesn't resort to using dark magic. So perhaps those humans, didn't have enough foresight to think that through, to say, okay, perhaps, and dark magic is just the easy way to get it done. And I think that's a theme that they touched on last season as well, with the king. It's like, the king and Viren. It's like that magic is easy, and that's one of the reasons why most humans gravitate towards it, because it's the easy way of getting things done. By taking away from someone else to better yourself, and that's not always the right answer. So it's going to be an interesting conversation that keeps coming up, and one I hope we discuss later on as well. I did want to touch on the moment between Callum and Rayla. I said it before. I mean, outside of his relationship with Claudia, and this brings me back to my Avatar Last Airbender days, where I was not a fan of the whole Aang and Katara matchup. I always thought that Zuko would have been a better match for Katara. I'm not sure if maybe somewhere along telling the story, the writers decided to change their relationship, but I recall when Zuko was first introduced, or when he first became a part of the team, and there was this conflict between him and Katara, and then when they eventually overcame that, I felt as though they had a connection, and her saving him, when she didn't have to, by healing him more than once, I believe, but I felt as though they had a bit more of a connection than Katara did with Aang. Aang was just infatuated with her from the beginning because she was the first girl he saw. Remember going back to where he was staying, the air temple. I don't believe there were women there. I don't recall, but I don't believe there were any women airbenders there. So she was, and coming out of the ice, she was the first girl that he's actually seen. So he was infatuated with her. So from Aang's perspective, it made sense. Okay, he wasn't into her, but I never got the impression that it was, that their affection was ever on the same level. It always felt as though Aang was just at 100 constantly. So I never got the connection between the two. I felt as though the writers were going in the direction of Zuko and Katara, and then they decided, let's just go in this direction instead. So I never bought into that, and with this now, with this relationship with Rayla and Callum, I don't know, maybe it's a bit different, or maybe I'm a bit biased thinking that way, because in some ways Callum and Claudia's relationship, it was never on equal footing either. I always felt that Callum was always in love with her and she was always just ignorant of that fact. But it seemed from that moment they had in this episode, it feels as though they may be going with Callum and Rayla. I really do hope not, because as I said, I enjoy their relationship, and again, it's how I perceived, Katara and Aang's relationship. Not necessarily a romantic one. I didn't see them having a connection, and I didn't see a connection here with Callum and Rayla before. There is one now based on what the direction they appear to be going in, but before they just seemed like great friends who helped each other out of these bad situations, and that obviously can bring people closer together. But I would prefer that he goes with Claudia. I don't particularly like Claudia. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she has betrayed them several times now, but I think that just gives more meaning to it in a way, right? Because she's so enthralled in dark magic, and Callum has found a way. He's sort of her beacon now to find her way out of the darkness and back to the light in a weird way. So I feel that connection with them more than I do Callum and Rayla. Not to say that they don't have a good relationship, they do, but I just prefer that they remain friends that way. And I would have absolutely no objection if Team Callum and Rayla, I don't know, what do we call it, Team Kayla? If Team Kayla became a thing, I'd be fine. I'd be quite fine with it, because I think I just love their relationship. So if that continues, right, and if that continues, I have zero objections. Alright, so season 3 has started. Alright guys, be sure to post down below, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode and what your hopes are for the remainder of the season. Be sure to hit like or subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.